Hello, everybody. Happy New Year, and thank you for joining of Two Mindsets. We are still here. I said two mindsets, but it's two mindsets. How's it going, Izzy? You got a smile on your face. I'm glad to see that.
Yeah, I was laughing at you.
I know.
Yeah.
And RJ, good to see you back also, brother.
Hey, what's happening? I'm here.
What's the shirt?
Oh, this is the for the new Captain America, Falcon Captain America. It's coming out this year. Doing a
Okay.
promo for it.
I saw the trailer.
Yeah, it looks good, right?
It was very,
Oh,
very intriguing. Intriguing. When
but
they first came up with the idea of his playing the new Captain America, I didn't like the suit, but then I see what they're doing with the suit in the new movie. It's pretty
okay.
bad, pretty nice, pretty nice. You
Yeah.
know, the wings are dangerous, and it's going to be interesting to see him going up against the Red Hulk.
Okay. Yeah, it's good. It's gonna be good. Izzy,
So,
Izzy, Izzy, I don't know if you're into it, but you might be into like some of the background on Captain America. Red, White,
Ooh,
and Truth. Red, White. Google that. Red, White, and Truth. Google that.
uh,
okay.
All right. Check that out. I got the
so,
book. I can even send you the book. It's very interesting reading.
is it a graphic novel?
It's a graphic novel. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
About Captain America?
About the original Captain America.
Okay.
Yes. So that's I believe it at that. But you would like it, especially.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll definitely check it out. I mean,
Red,
I used
white,
to collect
red,
comic
white, and
books, so
truth.
that might be a good read then.
Yeah.
Right, right.
Yeah.
We could use a real
I'm sorry.
Captain
I'm saying
America.
I'm saying that I said the title wrong. The title is Truth, Red, White, and Black. Sorry. So maybe
Ah,
I'm giving it away, but it's the title is Truth, Red, White, and Black. There you go.
hey, it is what it is.
All right.
And we could definitely use a real Captain America right now with the events that have dominated the headlines here in the United States, anyway, with the so-called terrorist attacks. And I don't have to say so-called. I mean, regardless of where you stand, these are terrorist attacks because they instill terror into people's lives, into people's minds. Um, and they both happened on New Year's Day. Um, so I don't know if you guys have been paying attention. The New Orleans attack that happened New Year's Day, and there was a explosion of a Cybertruck by a man on in Las Vegas that happened also on New Year's Day in front of the Trump International Tower. So, RJ, you want to tell us a little bit about one of those, and then we'll let Izzy talk about
Sure.
the other.
Well, I mean, look, since the I guess the New Orleans attack happened first, or was I guess more discussed, I'll talk about that. But my initial thoughts on the New Orleans attack, it was interesting to me that everything came out ISIS, ISIS, ISIS. Like how this man was associated with ISIS when um my thoughts were, this guy has no affiliation with ISIS whatsoever. It's more of a pipe dream, something that he's infatuated with them. So my thoughts basically went to, this guy has a mental illness because they said that he wanted to kill his family, what I'm saying? And I guess killing his family wouldn't brought enough attention to ISIS or whatever. Or it didn't make sense, and it still doesn't make sense. Uh, I know
What
we're gonna say what? Go ahead.
what part doesn't make sense exactly? If you could give
Two
us more
things.
on that.
Well, just so many things, man. To me, the fact that the vehicle he drove was a rented car, and I'm sure you guys have all rented, cars in the past. People that watch have rented vehicles in the past. You don't put personal items in a vehicle. So the fact that he had a ISIS flag that doesn't make any sense at all, man. It doesn't. it doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me. I mean, like I said, maybe because he
Is
is mentally ill, maybe that's why he's carrying the ISIS flag in his rented vehicle. What I don't know. It doesn't. I just don't get it, man.
Izzy, what is, I see you smiling. What's your thoughts on that particular
No,
incident?
nothing. I was just listening. Yeah, it just really did seem kind of
It's
out.
convenient. It's convenient,
Yeah,
is what it is. It's
it
like,
really
okay,
did seem convenient, and it's almost like I need more than just a flag to say he was a part of ISIS. To me, it's almost like okay, he was a terrorist of color. It's almost like because it normally be other groups doing stuff like this, so it's almost like they want to make black people are part of that. I think it's more like what RJ said, where he may have had an infatuation with, but not necessarily a part of ISIS. But
right,
we really don't know just yet. But yeah, just stuff seemed kind of off with the whole New Orleans thing to me, like how they was talking about the bollards that was supposed to be in the ground that they were supposedly getting switched out for the Super Bowl. They just was conveniently not in place,
The
which would have
barricades you're talking about.
yeah,
That,
yeah, the
yeah.
barricade, the bowlers. Um, it would have prevented him from being able to do what he did, and to me, it was just very convenient. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's just we really can only go off what they say, but that kind of struck me strange. And a lot of the videos I watched on it struck a lot of other people strange too. How just it's always convenient. It's a lot of convenient things when you have these kind of situations happen that just don't make sense.
right.
Let's
So
dive into that a little bit more once we discuss the other incident that happened, and that was in Las Vegas at the Trump International Hotel. 37-year-old Matthew Livelsberger, who also rented a vehicle, a cyber truck, and had explosives, fireworks and gas canisters in the back. He pulled up to the lobby and apparently ended his life right before.
The
Uh,
lobby of the Trump Tower. Specify that. You know, yeah,
right. Well, yeah, the
yeah,
Trump International Hotel. Right,
right.
right. And he ended his life with a weapon, and then also was able to, I guess, he had ignited or started the ignition of the fireworks in the back, which caused it a huge explosion. He was the only individual killed in that particular attack, but seven other people were injured. Izzy, I just wanted to interrupt right quick. Yeah, I don't know if you have a Izzy uninterrupted yet.
oh no. You pretty much explaining it.
What's
So
your
no,
thoughts on that one?
my thoughts on that one. It's like they're trying to link the two together, but I don't think
Well,
they.
actually, no. They're trying not to link the two. From what I've read, there's no correlations. What they're saying, there's no linkage at all.
Well, I guess I'm trying to say they were trying to see if it was any
Oh,
links, but I don't think so. I mean, he could have just been disgruntled about how things are going with Trump. He's not in office yet, but a lot of MAGA are mad because of this immigration thing, and they starting to realize that a lot of the things they thought was going to happen is not going to happen. So it could be that. It'll be speculation, but at the end of the day, I read the comments and the videos that I watch, and that's the consensus of a lot of people.
You know,
Um,
go ahead. My apologies.
and it's interesting. From what I read, both of these people were in the military, of course, but they both from Fort Bragg. I just found that interesting that the two attacks would have people that were trained in the same place to carry out two attacks, but they may not even be linked. So that would make me think, what the hell is going on in Fort Bragg? So I don't know. I just found that interesting.
To further expand on that, Izzy, they said there's no link, but I kind of think there has to be. You mentioned that they were both at Fort Bragg. Both of these guys are not just your run-of-the-mill military cast. These are
Right.
lifelong, highly decorated military people. Matthew Libbelsberger, he won the Bronze Star with Valor. So, meaning he was in combat, so he was awarded for combat. Also, in Jabbar, same thing. He won the Global War on Terrorism medal, and he also got two Army Good Conduct medals. So these are not just some run-of-the-mill military, and not to mention Libbelsberger was a Green Beret. So these are not your regular military cats. These are real deal, lifelong military people.
Hmm.
And
I'm, and
and
I'm
and and,
go
and
ahead.
Jabbar, it's funny, he spent his time killing ISIS. So all of a sudden now he is
That's what don't make
he's
sense.
he's joined ISIS.
Right, that don't make
it's it,
sense.
it, it's just fun. It plays out to me like
A Manchurian candidate, that would have happened.
like a Jack Reacher Prime Video, or a Jack Ryan,
Hmm.
one of those type shows. That's how it
Yeah.
plays out to me. It's like it doesn't it's so convenient, and the fact that they were both at Fort Bragg and Afghanistan in 2009. So they were,
Yeah,
and for some reason we have all these facts, but we can't find out if they're in the same unit or not. How do we not know that? How is that
Right.
not something that's
Hmm.
not known when we have all this information out there? It just doesn't make sense to me, DJ.
yeah. I try to be skeptical. I try to wait for all the facts, but this is very, very convenient, like you guys said, but very, very coincidental. They were both at Fort Bragg, like y'all said. They both served in Afghanistan. I'm not sure if they served there at the same time, though.
Well, we don't know this.
Right,
If they said 2009, they were there the
right,
same year, but
right.
we don't know if they were in the same unit.
But
That information hasn't been disclosed. So
But of all the rental companies in the United States, they
right,
both
man, come
rented their
on,
vehicles from Turo, which
right,
is a ride share company where you can go and pick up the car,
right.
and just put your money, you pay the app. That is very, I don't know. This one, there has to be some collaboration. It
Right.
seems, yeah, of course, we could be wrong, but
We could be wrong.
on the same day too. Come on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Uh, Somebody's playing us for stupid. I don't know on what level, but this
Right.
They're
is.
getting sloppy. They're getting sloppy with
Ah,
with
they
But
just think
that's not sloppy. That's intentional. It's got to be
it's
intentional, is he? Am I wrong about that?
no. Just like the whole Tesla truck in front of the Trump Tower. That's intentional. That's not, that somebody's sending a message. We don't know what the message is. You know what I'm saying? It's obviously saying something. He's something. The dude, I know we're not supposed to say the
the
DEAD, but he was okay.
unaligned.
What were the chain of events in that Tesla vehicle? Did he shoot himself and then like the bombs, or were the flames lit?
Exactly.
Were the flames lit and then he shot
Well,
himself? So he's sitting in the hot fires.
I can. I
That's
thought
what he
about
shoots
that, and that is
himself.
it is possible
What?
to bang yourself, but having had set something off prior to doing that. You
So
know what
he's
I'm saying?
burning, and then he's like, "Oh, I'm so hot, I can't take it. I'm gonna
I'm
shoot
not
myself."
laughing with you. I am not laughing with you. It's a
It's
terrible,
crazy.
terrible
Huh?
thing.
It's crazy.
You know,
I'm sorry about for his family. I apologize for the laughter. I'm not laughing at his death. I'm
Yeah.
laughing at
it,
the
it's the
craziness of the whole thing.
craziness that we're supposed to believe that there's no correlation
Right.
between these two events. But the university training in me also tells me that it is possible
Okay.
that it
Yes.
is just a coincidence. That these men never knew each other, that they had no collaboration, that if they did have any connection with organized terror group, they might still have known each other at all. So, you know, you have to be skeptical at the same time until you can prove otherwise. But
Well,
it's
I mean,
we can speculate, and that's what we're doing, right?
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you something else that kind of threw me off too. They was talking about the IEDs, the improvised explosive devices.
Right.
So they say they found a few, and
You talking about in New Orleans or in?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, in New Orleans, they say they swept the whole area. You know, the Super Bowl is coming, and they say the guy was saying that he is confident they found all of them. But how do you know that? How do you know that? How do you
So
know? It
they
it
do
sounds
have
like they
cameras
just
everywhere.
want business to stay the way it is because y'all didn't know this unless you knew this was gonna happen. How can New Orleans a big place? How do you know you because they say they did sweeps and
Well,
all that, but that just
it,
sounded crazy to me too. That you are sure 100%. He said 100% sure.
just think
That's
about
impossible.
just elaborate what you just said, Izzy. This happened, and then the next day, they canceled. They're supposed to have the
Should have
college playoffs of
been.
that same day. They canceled it and just postponed it for one day. So everything is hunky dory after a day.
Yeah. Mhm.
All's well. We know that this man wasn't affiliated. There was no connection. There's no network. Nothing. We know it's over with in one day. It's just I don't know, man. I don't know.
Well, according to Reuters, they mentioned the fact that the Israel's war with Hamas in Gaza and other conflicts going on in the Middle East have given rise to, it's called Islamic State, but we know them as ISIS. But they've been very busy in 2024. They mounted 153 attacks in Iraq and Syria, and they've been looking to expand their operations and to recruit more operatives. So
Mhm.
it's very possible. We know that Americans are, susceptible to falling into line with these types of groups. So, what do you say to that being a possibility? And we'll start with Izzy. That it is actually a group like ISIS.
I absolutely find that part of the whole situation strange too. That people in the U.S. military can come under pretty much hypnosis of these groups. It just don't. It does not make sense to me. And then to be a coward and like run a truck through people, that's cowardly. Like, what are you accomplishing? That's what always boggles my mind about
Right.
these like kind of terror attacks. It's like you're not really doing any damage. Yes, you took a few lives, but the state of the United States is not going to be affected as a whole. Like you really just going to strengthen people
Right.
resolve. Actually, you're just going
Right.
to strengthen people's resolve, and
Right.
maybe that's what it's for. Let's just say if this is a let's just say if this is a false flag, maybe it would be to kind of like cauterize some of the wounds that the United States has taken with people kind of waking up and all this, like part of the Great Reset. Like we need to get people back, and that how do you do that with an attack? Sort of like 9/11. That's how you
So,
would do that.
how do you get someone if that's the case? How do you get an individual like that to perform such an attack?
I
Mm.
mean, if the government ain't on it,
Well, what I'm
you
saying
got to
is,
understand. You got to understand now. We talking about where we have come to know factually that programs like I think it's the Monarch program, which is mind control. So these people would be like Manchurian candidates, and I don't like to kind of not glamorize. I don't like to kind of mystify it like a movie would, but
right.
you take people that would do anything for their country, and
Mm. Okay, yeah,
you
that
know what I
answers the
mean?
question.
You
Absolutely.
said
So
it. You hit it.
patriotism,
Again, these
absolutely.
are
I got you.
Patriotism.
lifelong military cats. This is what that was my
Yeah.
Mm.
point. These are cats highly decorated, lifelong military people. Just like to your point, Izzy, they would probably do anything. Jabbar was a Muslim going into the military. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He didn't just become a Muslim. He was a Muslim before he joined the military. So come on.
Izzy, you
Yeah,
just opened my
you know
eyes. I never thought of that. That that's that makes a lot of sense.
yeah.
Just like you said, this is not going to do anything but galvanize, you know, United States people. You know what I'm saying? Just like 9/11. Right after 9/11, we went over and we took care of them, right? You
Hmm.
know,
Wow.
We were hand in hand with Americans all across. Everybody, we were all united after 9/11.
Because you got to think, with Trump about to be in office, and he got all this backlash from Vivek and from Elon and what they've been talking about recently. Vivek with the talking down to his constituents, actually, and Americans are pretty much lazy. I work, he was really talking to white America, and MAGA did not like that. So you got a president that had such a movement behind him being inaugurated, and his movement is kind of falling apart. When you need something, now we just speculating, but
Just
when you need
speculating.
something, we just speculate. But when you need something to galvanize that, because I like to look at it from every angle. And then Elon pretty much, backed up, Vivek, which his whole premise is dead because the facts show that, the H-1B and how many of the jobs they actually do be giving away, and it's like hemorrhaging. Like, but that's neither here nor there. The main point of what I'm trying to say is this could be used to galvanize everybody, like a movement to bring them back into the fold. And shouldn't be this confusing, man. It's every time I feel like their hand is in it, it's always very confusing. You can never find out what's going on. The facts just don't make sense. The facts that they give you never make sense. It's just too many coincidences. Like,
It is very confusing because first of all, if it is as you say it is, which is very convincing, very possible, why would you have these obvious parallels? You know what I'm saying? It's you would think you would maybe use a 20-year-old little young lady and then a old black guy on this side of the country,
Right.
but
Make it
these are
tricky.
just right, right.
Yeah. No,
yeah,
Go
it's not
ahead.
tricky at all.
Right,
It's
right.
kind of, it's like in your face.
Maybe
yeah.
that's a part of the trickery. Go ahead, Izzy.
Right.
Oh no, I'm just agreeing. Yeah, I'm just agreeing. But it's gonna be interesting to see what more facts, quote unquote, come out, because it just don't make sense. It was just too much stuff that I've been hearing that just really don't make sense. I mean, everything. I mean, from the barriers not being up to them both being at Fort Bragg, that's too coincidental, man. It's just too coincidental. Either they was working together or some faction within the government had something to do with it.
Hmm.
That's just too coincidental. I don't believe in coincidences like that. Not that close. I
So
just
I think back on, of course, you two were around when we had the DC sniper incident, and
Hmm.
you remember all the black people who were talking about that's got to be a white right there, and then we found out it was two black guys. So we were totally convinced we were right, but we were dead wrong.
mhm.
RJ, what's the chances? It's not my best analogy, but what's the chances we're wrong on this, and this is just two guys who went berserk and just
I
happened
mean,
to do it
it's
on the
it's
same day.
there's a strong likelihood of that. I mean, it's 50-50, but the thing is we don't know. But like I said, there's a lot of parallels. I'm leaning towards there is some connection there, but it's very likely that, or very possible that, we're wrong in this. Um, So like they could be two mentally ill individuals who just carried out some dastardly deeds on that day. It's terrible either way. You know what I'm saying?
What does this do, Izzy, for people going forward, looking at gathering at big outdoor events? Do you think this is going to deter people at all?
For a while, like just like the pandemic did. I mean, but eventually people will go back to normalcy. I mean, they always do. I saw people in the comments saying that too, that they are afraid to be in large crowds. I mean, I've never liked large crowds, even before all of this and before COVID. I never liked shaking people's hands. So now that people do the fist bump, that was right up my alley because I know how nasty people are. So, but large crowds, yeah, that man, football games, baseball games, people are not gonna stop going. People, I don't. It'll change things maybe for a short term, but after a while, it'll go back to normalcy. But I did want to go back to what you asked RJ
Absolutely.
about. What was that last question? You remember it specifically? You don't, but
No.
you know. But I did want
Uh,
to say we hadn't. You was asking about
what did I ask you, RJ?
Man, that's why you put me on the spot now? You the question
But
asker.
what I want to say, we didn't come to a concrete idea of what we think.
Right.
The person you asked him, and he gave you his premise and what he thought.
I remember
We
now.
just
I asked
speculating.
him, and I apologize for interrupting. I asked him, what's the possibility that we're
Oh,
wrong?
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
this is just what it seems that it's just two random guys who happen
Mhm.
to do the same thing on the same day.
Right, right, right,
That's
right.
right. That's what I want to react to. We're not saying that this is actually what happened. To me, you do yourself a disservice when you don't try to think of all possibilities. See, I know people probably look at me as a conspiracy theorist. No, I just like to look at every angle. I don't just take what the news put out, what they shovel us, and just eat it. And I just don't do that. I try to look at every angle, every possibility. And while I'm sitting here thinking about it, I may come up with other theories or and whatnot. You do yourself a disservice, and I think that's how the wool get pulled over um, people's eyes, American people, and just globally. People don't ask enough questions. They don't try to think around anything or analyze anything. They just take what's given to them, and that's that. And that's how the controllers have been able to just get over on people the way they do. So, for the people that's watching, don't think that my thoughts on everything is always outlandish. No, I just try to think of every possibility. That's it. I'm not saying that's actually what happened. I'm saying it's definitely a possibility. That's all I'm saying. And it could be a possibility there is a link. It could be a possibility that there actually is no link and it's just coincidental. And you know what I mean? So I just wanted to put that out there. We haven't said one way or the other concretely because we don't
Right.
actually know.
Absolutely. And it is New Year's Day. So that is, for lack of a better way of putting it, that's the perfect day to sort of do an attack, you know. Um, and if you're have a military background, you have more, and I'm trying not to be offensive, but those are the people that we might look at as having more of a likelihood to do a violent attack. And I don't even know that that's true, but it sort of makes sense. So both of those things were in play here. And unfortunately, people lost their lives as a result of it. Um,
You're
RJ,
correct in your assessment, though, Deidre.
yeah,
A lot of times when we hear about these situations, they are either former or active military or cop or something like that. So you're not wrong in your assessment. But I do see they are trying to set up this narrative, like they was talking about. I think his name was Sham. Sham Jabbar. His first name was Sham. And
Shamsud-Din Jabbar.
Shamsud-Din Jabbar. Yeah. He was stressed and he was behind on his bills. He lost his
Mm,
business. He was like $28,000 in the hole. His wife had divorced him. He was behind on
wow.
payments to her, child support, either child support or alimony. I think it was child support though.
Mm.
And they set it up like that. But these situations always reveal so much. And when I say that, I mean you have to look at it from every angle. I was looking at the comments when they was talking about Jabbar, and it's amazing. I know skin color got to do with it, but it's amazing how many people I saw in the comments saying, regardless whether he's a vet or not, I don't want to hit a mental narrative, and he had emotional. But when it's a white guy, I don't care what nobody say. It's like then people want to say we need to get people help and this and this and that. Then I went to the other guy. All the news report, I read the comments.
Right.
Even though it pisses me off and it make me angry a lot of time, I read it because I like to see the mentality. And people have discussed the mentalities, man. Like what he did was disgusting. It was cowardly, but it still show you the mentality of the American society as well. And when I went to the other guys, Matthew Levelsberger, the comments were very different. It was more or less like what they were saying. That one of them said, "Well, the Tesla car looked better blowed up because it
Wow.
was trash anyway,"
Wow.
or yeah, the MAGA people are sure mad now. It was just like the comments were different. Some of them were
Mm.
almost leaning towards comedic. Well, it was comedic. It's just funny, just the mentality and the way the news like reports on things like this when it's a different when the backgrounds are different as far as ethnically or racially. But that's neither here nor there either. I just thought that was interesting. Like I said, I look at it from every angle, but I just wanted
Yeah,
to say that.
it's always interesting to see the different perspectives, when there are different races involved in similar situations like this. And yeah, there's always those guys in the comments with the, like you said, comedic take on things on when it's really nothing funny about the issue at
That's
all.
the
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
RJ, any further thoughts?
No, yeah, it's two different situations where the guy in Vegas, he just took his own life, which is sad in itself for his family.
Right.
But to uh to Izzy's point, it's like we painted they're both bad guys. But one is painted like a real little super villain. You know what I'm saying? He's got a crew called ISIS and he's just ultimate bad guy. And the other guy is just, just like a self crime or it's just
Do you think he only meant to take his own life?
That's what I was wondering.
I think he
I
messed
know.
something up. I don't know. I don't know, but I think
I
he
think 7 people got injured, so it was
right,
a possibility that people could have died.
right.
Right.
But I think from what the reports that I read and from the news videos that I've seen, I think only 7 people got injured. But
Yes, that's what I have also.
And I heard the press conference, and I was listening to. I guess I'm sure it was like the uh, I don't know if it was the DA or whoever it was, but then they were basically they were saying that they were because this guy was a special ops guy, right?
Right.
And they were kind of underwhelmed by his the complexity of the explosives that he had. Meaning that they were kind of like he should have done better than what he did if he was trying to blow up the spot, so to speak. It's like they were kind of, what I'm saying, they were underwhelmed at what he accomplished, I guess, in this effort to either blow up the car or do damage in what he did. So I don't know.
So, in a note on his phone, he wrote these words: "We are being," and I quote, "We are being led by weak and feckless leadership who only serve to enrich themselves. He
Hmm.
said he was doing it to relieve himself of the burden of the lies that he took. So,
So he basically was committing suicide, and
That's
that
what
right.
Matthew said.
I'm sorry.
That's what the white one said, right?
Right,
Matthew.
the guy in Las Vegas. Exactly.
So he felt
That
bad
Trump.
as far as his military combat and having to take people out.
There you go. There you go. Yeah.
hmm.
Which
That kind
totally.
of that kind. See, that kind of humanizes him. So I wonder if he really wrote that. That's one thing they do too. They always humanize. But I ain't gonna keep getting into that. But they always humanize the white one. But hey, I hope he really wrote that because if he did, that did humanize him. That did. I hope he really wrote that because that does give what he did a whole nother meaning. If he actually did.
Yeah, that's according to CNN, and that they got that information from the police there in Vegas. So that's what was released as being
He
found
put
on his phone.
on his phone. Okay, so it was like
Right.
was a text sent to someone
No, it
or
was you have the Note app. I assume that's what it was. Right.
that nobody uses.
I use the Note app all the time, but
What? Oh
there's
man,
I don't. That's a good question. That's a great question, RJ. Why did he put it on the Note app and didn't send it to anybody? Or
come on,
maybe, yeah, I have
come
no
on,
idea.
come on, man.
Great,
He's
great
going.
point. Great
This
point.
dude's going to kill himself. So he's saving that.
right.
Who's he saving it for?
Yeah, exactly. And the phone was in the explosion. So
Exactly.
See, that's why I say, man, we don't even know if he wrote that.
good
You
point.
know,
Good point.
and I mean, I don't know. But people have certain mind states, man, and they're gonna think about it however they want. And my opinions on it, I'm sure most people don't like, but
It's just very
it just
strange.
don't.
Both both
Mm-hmm.
both of them are very strange. Just
It's
very
strange.
uh just
Don't make sense.
doesn't make sense, man. Well, it's irrational. So it kind of fits, like I said. So it could be, like I said, both these guys were just mentally ill individuals, and that's another issue that America specifically has is mental health, mental illness. That's a big problem here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Livelsberger, he was seeing military behavioral health services. Uh, they had seen him as recently as sometime last year, and they had deemed him not to be a risk to hurt himself or others. So, uh, they, maybe something had happened since the last time he was there.
Yeah. So was he was he in debt? Did he have issues with his wife and kids too? We know all about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. What about Livelsberg? Huh? No?
What you call the guy Kareem Abdul-Jabbar? That's funny.
What's his name? What's his name?
I'm
Shamsud-Din
sorry to
Jabbar.
laugh, but oh my God.
Sorry.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I'm gonna tell you something else that struck me strange too, man.
What's
What?
I'm
that?
sorry, I just can't. I when I
Well,
just
let's just say right quick, if we're laughing, we're definitely not laughing at the situation. We're laughing
oh,
at
of
the
course not.
absurdity, the fact that it seems absurd that these things are so coincidental. But go ahead, please.
Let me take the smile off my face because it's not funny at all.
Mm-mm.
But the pictures of the victims, I found this very strange. In the day and age we live in, the pictures that they showed of them, they all look old. I know that may seem like a small detail, but that kind of struck me strange too. I won't give y'all my theory on that because people get upset, but it just seemed like the pictures were old, and in this day and age,
Mm,
it's like y'all couldn't have got better pictures
I think
of the deceased. Like it just seemed like with all that was going on and all the coincidences, it just the stuff that just don't seem right. That don't seem right either. Like they almost look like composite pictures to me. Like then why not? I don't know. It just struck me strange too. And
Yeah,
when we off video, I will tell y'all my theory on that. But that just struck me strange too. In the
okay.
day and age we live in, those pictures that they had of them people look like they was took on like phones from like 15 years ago.
Let me just ask you, was it not that they had like blurred out the
No, they didn't have it.
injuries
No,
and
they
whatnot?
weren't blown out. No, they was
Mhm.
actually trying to show you what the victim looked like, what the victims look like. That and so
Gotcha,
that kind of struck me strange too.
gotcha. Okay.
Yeah,
Well, if we can, we'll move on, and
yeah.
because these two things are gonna unfold as the days go by, and maybe we'll come back to it next week. But I just wanted to
Or it'll be like the
like
UFOs.
the
We'll forget
drones.
about it. We'll forget about it
uh,
in a week and a half. It'll be no longer discussed.
right,
We'll see.
right. That's a possibility too.
Hmm.
So yesterday, I was on the phone with an uncle of mine. He is in his 70s. I love having time to talk to him when I can, and he is what I would call a patriot for sure. He was in the military back in his early days in the army, as all of my uncles were, and my father, and my
Same here.
grandfathers.
Yep.
Yeah, but he was just talking about the fact that he knows men who were in the military who have turned against the country. But he says that he's traveled all over the world also, and he was just making a point that regardless of what you think about the United States, it's still the best country in the world. And of course, people are going to argue with that, but it's one of those things where we have freedoms that a lot of people don't have. We can get on here and we can say things that other people will go to jail for even suggesting.
Right.
So,
But
and
hold on. But those things were not given to us. We fought for those things. So I just want to say that
that's
they
why I
need to do
mentioned
the same. If they want the same freedoms we have, then they need to get up off their ass and fight for their own freedoms the way we do. So,
absolutely, and that's the whole
mm,
point. I mentioned that he was in the military because they fought for these rights, and we're able to do things that even in other so-called free countries they don't have the right to do. I just wanted to mention that uh, people like Jabbar and Livelsberger somehow lose sight of that fact that this is a great country, and we put people in power that we don't agree with, that we think shouldn't be there. Absolutely, we things happen that are totally against our own being that we don't like, but we still have rights that people in other countries don't get. So I just wanted to mention that. I thought it was a good conversation apropos to what we were talking about today. And it's always good to go back to those old men. And a lot of people don't have old men in their lives that they can talk to, and so I'm very fortunate to have that. And speaking of old men, I had my 50th birthday a couple of days ago. So I am officially in that 50s bunch now. And I got to tell y'all, it feels great. Um, I am healthy and doing better than a lot of 40 and 30 year
Right.
olds.
You look
So
good. You look good, D.
thank you. Thank you. So, had a lot of people reach out to me and went out to dinner and lunch. And it's been a great week for me. So, happy birthday to me. I just wanted to mention that. What do I have to look forward to as a 50-year-old?
who you asking?
Yeah, who you
RJ?
ask?
Oh,
RJ, give me some wisdom.
You just more aches and pains. You're just gonna have to practice more maintenance on your body. You just can't take days off, especially exercising, eating right.
Right.
You can't go long stretches just eating junk food. You have to exercise, keep your mind fresh, reading, everything, all that helps.
For sure. For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. More than anything, the joints have become a problem. I try to keep
Right.
myself in fairly decent shape.
Yeah.
I work out just about daily in some form or
And
fashion.
you don't have to work out hard walking, man.
Yeah,
If you
exactly.
walk 2 miles a day, 2 miles a day every day or every other day,
I have
good.
the dog, and I walk the dog at least twice a day. So if you having a dog is a truly great thing. You got the
If
friendship
you like dogs, yeah.
and the exercise. Right, right. So um, we're gonna do all the things to stay healthy in this coming year. We've already talked about 2025 in the new year, but since we last talked, have either of you come up with any goals? Izzy?
Well, I told you I was gonna start off strong, keeping in shape. So this morning I did 5 miles. I went to the track. I woke up about 6:30 and I went to the track and
Wow,
did
that's
five
good.
miles. I did some push-ups, some sit-ups this morning, and I'm gonna do that at least 3 or 4 days a week. So I at least want to walk maybe about 15, 20 miles every week, at least.
That's
So
awesome.
mhm.
Yeah, and you're looking great, man. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Keep up the
Thank
good
you.
work.
And you look good for 52, brother. You do. You
Right.
do.
Thank you very
Oh,
much. Thank you very
Huh?
much.
oh,
Wait, who are you
No,
talking to?
it's
Izzy?
you look good for 52.
I'm not nowhere near 50.
Oh, you're not. Oh, my bad.
No, I'm not. I'm
Oh,
Oh
nowhere
man,
near
oh man, that's funny. That's funny. Well, gentlemen, it's truly a blessing to be able to have these meetings with you all and to share our conversations with the Of Two Mindsets group of fans that we have. And we're going to make 2025 a great year, and we're going to keep on growing and expanding and doing great things in our individual lives. And I wish you both the best. Any last words? We'll start with RJ.
no, just have a good week. Look forward to maybe our next session. Hopefully, we'll have something interesting to talk about. But that's it.
Okay. Izzy?
Yeah, I did. It's just something that's been on my heart, Reese.
Sure.
Like, you know, when you see stuff like this on the news, everybody just got to realize life is precious, man. Um, so stay prayed up, stay positive, love your family, love your friends, be more forgiving, and just remember that life is precious. So enjoy it and love on your people that you love. And that's it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. With that, I love you guys. Let me just say that out loud.
Thank you, D
And
Hill.
absolutely. Absolutely. And we want to say thank you to all of our fans for joining us. Please be sure to like and share this with your friends and family and subscribe. Subscriptions are free. Just get on the YouTube app, and that way you'll know when we have a show coming out. Thanks again. Happy New Year. Happy 2025. And this is Of Two Mindsets. Peace.
Peace.